Dr David Skellern, your gig at NICTA was the icing on the cake after a long period in the private sector. Have you found it? And I hear that there are some rumours that you might be looking to move on pretty soon.
Yeah, not pretty soon, but I have. I advised the board last year that I wasn't going to be seeking an extension of my contract, and the contract finishes in March next year. So the board has put in place a search committee. A search firm has been hired. The first ad came out last Friday, and so it's real. It's really happening. Someone's going to replace me. But I expect to be around until early next year. So into March is when I formally leave the place.
What have been the highlights for you running NICTA since it started so far?
The first really big buzz was getting into NICTA and seeing the quality of the people. So a highlight for me personally has been working with just an outstanding team of people. And that's really why I stayed on. I originally went into NICTA with an expectation of helping find a new CEO and putting them in place. But, by next year it'll be 6 years I'll have been there. So I've had a great time working with that team of people. And the sort of directions that I've tried to move it in were directions that were supported by the organisation, and people got behind it. And we've gone from really having a pretty diverse group of people with no single culture into a group that has a very strong culture, a real desire to use research for competitive advantage for the country, to build prosperity in the country, and to use research to actually produce globally competitive products, processes and services, and not just incremental research, but to really shoot for big breakthroughs, things that are going to be able to sustain competitive advantage over a period of time. And that rationale, that reason for doing our research, and that attitude to research is part of the DNA of the organisation now. You just see it, it just happens right across the board, and that is really pleasing to see.
What technologies would you like to see commercialised before you leave in March?
Before I leave in March? Well, I guess, look, there's a couple that seem to me to be really pretty well ready for going out or being licensed out. One of them is the gigabit wireless work we've done, and that's the idea of being able to use wireless at the end of a wired link that is going to run at like 2.5 gigabits per second. So you'll be able to download a DVD in like a matter of 10 seconds or so to some device. And I think the sort of thing it's going to be devices like this, that these may not be able to swallow that data rate yet, but in time that's going to definitely be the sort of technology that will be used. And we've done some great work there, and I think that the economic climate is such that with a bit of luck they'll manage to get some venture funding to spin that out before I go. And the other one is a fabulous technology that started out with cars, actually autonomous vehicles. And what's happened with that is that we've converted that to actually an automatic mapping. And that also, that is to update maps automatically from video that's taken and analysed on the fly. So the arrangement is basically you stick a bunch of these video devices into garbage trucks or taxis, and as they drive around, they analyse the signs, they analyse the state of the road, they analyse the existence now of perhaps an island in the middle of the road that wasn't there before that will prevent you from turning right, and details about updating. It then knows that it has to update the map data that you use in your navigation system. So we've done some commercial work with that, we've applied it, and I think it's got huge potential, and it's certainly commercially ready to go.
Best of luck to you. Thanks for your time.
Thanks, Brett.